Shh, it's the Film Flamers.
Hi guys, I'm Robert.
I'm Chris.
And we're the Film Flamers.
We are.
It feels so backward when I do it.
I know.
I don't even know how to continue.
We just need to practice.
Yes. But continue we shall. As we discussed in our previous episode where we watched The Descent, my first time to watch The Descent, in fact, we did a little pivot this month, and Chris and I are showing the other movies that we think that they should see. And I had selected a film that I have been talking about for some time that other people that we know, in fact, also like. But then we watched The Dentist. So I pivoted again, and I decided to show Chris Society.
I was so looking forward to session 9. I'm still looking forward to it.
Yes, you will. Perhaps when we revisit this theme, you know what? Maybe we'll just watch it next month. Who knows? Who even knows?
That's right. Yeah, this is Society, or a little film we like to call Eyes Wide Shunt.
It's perfect. It is 1898. It is a 1989 American body horror film directed by Brian Yuzna, which is, the director of The Dentist. But this is his directorial debut from a screenplay by Woody Keith and Rick Fry. It stars Billy Warlock as a teenager in Beverly Hills who begins to suspect that his wealthy parents are part of a gruesome cult made up of the social elite. The film's score was composed by none other than Mark Ryder and Phil Davies.
Who are they?
I have no idea.
Okay. Society was originally conceived as a more conventional slasher, featuring a cult of social elitists who engage in human sacrifice. The screenplay was reshaped by Yuzna, who introduced body horror elements, such as the reveal of the cult being a shape-shifting species that can literally feed on the lower classes, a concept he based on nightmares that he himself had experienced. The film was shot in California in 1988 with Screaming Mad George as the special effects designer.
You think Screaming is his Christian name?
I doubt it. I also don't think Warlock is a Christian name.
No. It is a pagan name. Anywho, okay, listeners, how do you like your tea? Cream, sugar, or do you want me to pee in it? This is Society.
Such service. Only if it rolls downhill, bitch. All pee does. That's what the rich want you to think.
Beverly Hills is known as a society of wealth and privilege, but Billy Whitney doesn't seem to be getting his share. He thinks everyone is out to get him, even his friends.
You never were one of us.
He thinks that he doesn't belong.
Hell, they don't even look like me. Why are you guys doing this to me, huh?
He believes he's seeing things. Bad things. Beyond reality. Is it just his imagination?
I'm not paranoid. All my fears are real.
Or has Billy uncovered something terrible? Something unspeakable?
Don't go home, Billy.
What, you've been living with these people all your life and you didn't know anything about this?
If you don't follow the rules, Billy, bad things happen.
You know you'll make such a great contribution to society.
Who are you?
And now Billy
It's showtime, Billy!
is fighting for more than just his sanity. He's fighting for his life. The time is coming for Billy to take his place. In society, it's all about fitting in.
Many years before the gang and their antics at West Beverly, Bill Whitney, played by Bill Warlock, a basketball-playing student body president candidate at posh Beverly Hills Academy, has a growing suspicion that something's wrong with his family. His parents, Nan and Jim, are cold and distant to him. Not at all the same way they treat his sister, Jenny, played by Patrice Jennings, who's about to have her official coming-out party. He shares all of his feelings with his shrink, Dr. Cleveland, but the good doctor keeps telling Billy that he's acting too paranoid and anxious. After all, one day, he'll make a good member of society. On the evening before Jenny's party, they catch her ex-boyfriend, David, hiding in her closet and kick him out. Days later, David pulls Bill aside at the beach to play a cassette for him. You see, David has planted a bug in Jenny's earring, and he caught a pretty juicy conversation between Jenny and their parents. In the conversation, Jenny and their parents are talking about some pretty icky incestual things, which devolve into what sounds like wet, sloppy, murderous orgy. Convinced that his suspicions are true, Bill gives the tape to Dr. Cleveland. Bill's dad discovers the earring microphone and knows that apparent tech wizard David had something to do with this. When Dr. Cleveland plays back the tape for Bill, the recording is just Jenny's normal coming out party, just like normal society. No wet, sloppy, murderous orgies anywhere. Bill attempts to get another copy from David, but David has seemingly died in a terrible accident on the way to meet him. Or did he? Bill's invited to a super important party by his rich classmate Ted, who confirms that the sex tape Bill heard was real and that he fucked Jenny. Angry and confused, Bill leaves the party with Clarissa, played by Devin Vasquez, a beautiful but aloofy weird girl he was dancing with and flirting with at the party. While they're boning at her place, David notices that Clarissa's contorting her body in all kinds of weird, unnatural ways. Moments away from the world's longest reach around, he stops their coitus only to find that she's returned to normal. They head downstairs for tea, where Clarissa offers to pee in Bill's cup, because that's what society does for each other, but Clarissa's bull of a mom enters, causing Bill to flee. At David's funeral, Bill and his best friend Milo, played by Evan Richards, discover that David's corpse might be fake. How curious. What is society up to? During the services, Bill is approached by his school rival Martin, who has some pertinent information about society. At their arranged meeting in the woods, however, Bill finds Martin's body with his throat slashed. When he returns with the police and Clarissa, Martin's body's gone. But surprise, Martin shows up at school the very next day and is alive and well. Bill arrives home to confront his parents and sister, who drug him with the help of Dr. Cleveland. Bill is taken to a hospital, trailed by Milo, who is told that Bill is dead. Ugh, lots of names. But he's not through. Bill wakes up more determined than ever to expose society. Milo and Clarissa warn him not to go home, but he does anyway. There he finds a formal party attended by all of society and led by the judge or something. The head of society, I guess. Dr. Cleveland provides the exposition. You see, the members of society are actually a different species, or something like that. And Bill, who was adopted, is not part of their bloodline, which should be relieving, but to prove that they're going to make Bill their shunting, a gross phenomenon in which society all physically deform their bodies and meld with each other in some gross, sticky, amorphous mass of flesh. David's still alive, apparently, is brought in as their appetizer, and Bill is to be their entree. As David watches, society disrobes and deforms their bodies around David, feasting on his nutrients or something in a slimy, orgasmic fury. The judge then rams his fist into David's anus and reaches all the way through his mouth, killing him, while the others continue to feast, covered in some oozy, cummy substance. Bill momentarily escapes to find his family upstairs, having a little incestuous shunt of their own. Jenny's head pops out of her mom's gooch, and Bill's dad face protrudes from his own butthole. It's all very touching, really. Always remember, incest is a game the whole family can play. Gross. Society recaptures Bill and prepares him for his own shunting, but instead he wants to fight Ted, which is allowed for reasons. Ted pummels Bill despite Clarissa, who is all... See, the whole movie would have been better if it was in the 1800s, like you said earlier.
That's right.
It would have been like Dangerous Liaisons. But with shunting.
There already is some shunting.
Oh my God, can you imagine all the things that would pop out of those hoop skirts?
Underneath those wigs.
Oh my God, he transformed into Glenn Close. Sorry. So, Ted pummels Bill despite Clarissa, who is also a member of society, remember, and cries for him to stop. Meanwhile, Milo is snuck inside dressed as a cop, but he's also unable to stop the fighting. With Bill seemingly incapacitated from the fight, Ted prepares to shunt him with his fist. But Bill is awake and fine. He reaches into Ted's butthole mid-shunt and pulls him inside out, killing him. I guess this is shocking enough to society to allow Bill to escape, which he does with Milo and Clarissa, who I guess doesn't need to shunt anymore, a growing testament to the power of love, or something.
The end. That was quite rushed.
Oh, was it? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We had a little aside there.
Rushed like the end of this film.
Really.
Society screened at Cannes in 1989. It also screened at Shock Around the Clock Film Festival in London the same year. The film was a critical success in Europe, but it was shelved in the US for 3 years.
Holy shit.
It was officially released in the US on February 28th, 1992. For some reason, Box Office Mojo reports a worldwide gross of $118. But that can't be right? 118 bucks.
Yeah, so I looked into that.
Yeah.
And it's because they didn't keep track.
Okay.
And then didn't publish it later. So we have the budget, which is like $2 million.
Okay.
And then like there was nothing really made to speak of, I guess. But then like later on, like Arrow released a Blu-ray and it made $1 million just like immediately. So the movie did make money on its home releases.
Yes.
Because it did become a cult classic.
And that's where I saw it. Like I saw it like right around the age of 14.
Yeah.
It had a interesting cover that really had nothing to do with the movie, but
well, any buzz that was probably going around from the British release like did not happen in the States because it was held.
Yep.
So like it was just a really bungled release too, because I'm sure the word of mouth for the last 15 minutes would have been, bonkers.
Enough to make people go see it.
Yeah, for sure. Society has a 69% on Rotten Tomatoes, aptly, with an audience score at 60%, and there is no site consensus.
Aptly. Variety described it as an extremely pretentious, obnoxious horror film that unsuccessfully attempts to introduce kinky sexual elements into extravagant makeup effects.
If only it was pretentious.
Michael Wilmington of the Los Angeles Times wrote, "No one who sees the last half hour of this movie will ever forget it, though quite a few may want to." Wilmington likened the film's themes to a message to that of Jonathan Swift's 1729 satirical essay, A Modest Proposal.
Please.
Mark Savlov of the Austin Chronicle wrote that the British press, who gave the film positive reviews, overrated it and stated that it would not play well to American audiences.
And it didn't, because it didn't play.
Yeah.
Tom Tunney of Empire rated the film 4 out of 5 stars and wrote, "Way ahead of its time, this is a balls-out satire on the disgraceful layers that can lurk just beneath the Avon surface. This is anti-Ferris Bueller and fiendishly funny."
In the early 2000s, Time Out London conducted a poll with several authors, directors, actors, and critics who have worked within the horror genre to vote for their top film. Society placed at number 95 on their top 100 list. Oh my good lord. Bartolomej Pasjic. Bartolomej Pasjic wrote in The Pleasure and Pain of Cult Horror Films that the film has one of the craziest and most disgusting endings in movie history.
Watch a movie. I don't know. Even when I watched Sallow, I didn't think it was that bad. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know what I've seen that has fucked me from these movies. Thinking these movies are shocking, but like, I don't know.
Well, I think you and I have seen enough body horror movies at this point.
Not even body horror, like even things that are like Strangers by the Lake has like full erections and like actual like coming, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got, I just feel like there's more crazy stuff based on tone, right? Tone is everything. This tone was not, anywhere. I mean, they were playing like fucking amusement park music.
Well, and then
like during this scene, right? And you're not supposed to take it seriously. Maybe in the 80s it would have been horrific, but
I don't even know that you were supposed to take it seriously.
I feel like The Thing today is more disturbing than this.
Well, I think The Thing is a more disturbing movie.
Yeah.
I think that
there.
This movie is gross. I really like the body effects, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I do have my favorite Letterboxd reviews.
Okay.
Yeah. So what Jaws did for swimming in the ocean, Society did for attending underground incest orgies.
I'll never go back to another one.
And best utilization of the term butthead in the history of all cinema, television, and literature.
I would say that's apropos.
It's easy to do, though. Also, finally, first 80 minutes, 1 star. Last 10 minutes, 5 stars.
Yeah. However, there are plenty of lines in here that make me cackle. So I think it's at least worth 1.5 stars for the first 80 minutes.
Yeah.
It has an accolade.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. At the British International Festival of Fantasy Film, or BIFF, it won Best Makeup.
For Old Dirty Bastard, or whatever his name is.
ODB. Screaming Mad George. Something or other.
Okay.
Yes.
Either way, it sounds like a pirate name.
Arr!
We have to talk about the cast because this is huge. This is a huge cast. A lot of speaking roles, led by Billy Warlock as our teen hero, right? Billiam Whitney, who looks like a young brain-damaged John Stamos. Of course, Billy Warlock would go on to do Baywatch and like General Hospital, and you know,
he looks like a fucking soap opera actor. So,
and
I can see
he literally looks like. There's so many lookalikes in this movie.
Yes,
like I kept like having to like say it out loud. So this would look like a young brain damaged John Stamos, and then like we have a bunch of people like his mom, the skeleton of Patti LuPone,
which made me laugh a lot when you said that.
And then his dad, Craig T. Nelson's clone, spliced with Brian Boitano. You see it.
I do.
Especially Boitano.
Yes.
And then special needs Kirsten Dunst as his sister.
Patrice.
For real. And then Mia Sarah's career void made flesh as romantic interest. And then Ben Slack, who looks like the head watcher from Buffy, I guess, and like so many other characters that I've seen. But he's not. He's not that character. Like, so I don't know, but I feel like I've seen him everywhere.
And I feel like that was the point of this too. I mean, they were trying to make an 80s movie, right? Like an 80s comedy, an 80s teen comedy, but add these...
With all the 80s stars, but for pennies on the dollar.
But they had to find the skeleton of Patti LuPone. Yeah. They couldn't really afford Patti LuPone. But you're right. I mean, she definitely looks like a lady who shunts. And like, I don't know. Every time you mentioned it, I was just like, oh my God, he's right.
Here's to the ladies who shunt. Everybody laugh.
Yeah, I don't know. The cast was fine. Were they? I mean, given the stuff that they had to work with, I guess. I mean, like the lines in this movie are just fucking goofy. Like a lot of them, and I forgot.
Some of it's script. Some of the script is bad. And some of it, the acting is bad. And some of it, they're both bad. Yeah,
it's a combination of the two. However, you cannot watch a film where someone is serving someone tea and offering to pee in it for them in addition to their cream and sugar and not find that a little hilarious.
Yeah.
Because it just comes out of fucking nowhere. Mm-hmm. Just like the rest of this movie does. But the thing is I really think that they were trying to go for that like teen 80s comedy kind of vibe, John Hughesy vibe, right?
Yeah, and they really kind of did in a more, it felt more Lynchian by the end of it, I felt. And to the point where I was like, I want this to be more Lynchian, more surrealistic, more dreamlike, because there is some of that, and the editing is some of that. We start kind of this movie kind of abruptly, and he's in a nightmare, and then like, it's like I missed a chapter. Like we're in the middle of the movie already, somehow. And there was just like not enough establishing story, I feel like, for this, maybe.
Yeah.
But which is kind of a Lynchian thing to do. But we get the character exposition and development later on. We never really get that here. And it's just like in more sure hand. This is the guy's first fucking movie, so we can give him some credit, you know. But I wanted the Lynchian stuff to be more Lynchian. And then like the satire stuff, I was like, what if Verhoeven did this? You know, and it's like from every angle, it could have been and should have been better. But I get what it was trying to be, and it was trying to be too many things, and it didn't know its own identity.
Yeah, no, I think 100%, because I can see the Lynchian qualities, and I think that you're right. Like, you just said Paul Verhoeven, and I was just like, oh my God, I feel like in his hands, this movie would have been something completely different, right? At least tonally.
I think Yuzna's better when he completely writes and directs his own things, right? And we've seen that throughout his career. Unfortunately, like what we had discussed with House, I think is the case here, where there's like a lazily rewritten script, or like some things are tacked on to make it your own. And that's what he did here, because this was supposed to be more, you know, thriller, like teen thriller type of situation with the satire, but he's the one that tacked on all that stuff. You'll notice they're not really talking about a lot of the stuff. right? And it's because a lot of it he put on later as visual stuff. Like he kind of went into a room with this old dirty bastard guy, Screaming George or whatever the fuck, Yelling Willoughby. I don't know his name. And then just basically decided the look of this thing and where it would end up. And then writing a story around the visual beats of the body horror. And that's just not how you write a story.
No, and that's exactly what I was going to say. It feels like they just wanted to have some big makeup, showpieces, right? And I think they succeeded in that. I think that the visual effects in this movie are good. I think they're gross and they're slimy looking.
It's all there. The satire's there, the body horror's there, your characters, the story, it's all there. It just wasn't really tied together and it doesn't do itself. There had to have been some intention there and some tender love and care to wrap all these things together to make it more than the sum of its parts.
Yes.
And it just never really takes off in that way.
I think that to make this movie the way he wanted it, you take some sort of basic story idea from that script, but you have to start all over again and make a brand new script, a brand new movie to go along with the big set pieces that you want to do. And he didn't do that, obviously. And you're absolutely right. Like, we feel like we start this movie like right in the middle of it because he has a nightmare. We're supposed to understand, I guess, visually, that he's got some sort of mental issues. And then we cut directly to him in his shrink's office, and so I'm like, maybe just a little bit more exposition. Because then right after, we're supposed to feel like he has some sort of mental issues, or anxiety or something like that. He's just having a good time and playing basketball with his friend.
I also didn't get that, like, some other things do a lot of like just exposition, but also just like setting the scene, setting the stage, like we get in like Wild Things, who's rich, who's poor.
Yep.
And all of that. And I didn't really get that he was super rich until like 3/4 through this movie. Because like, I feel like all 80s films take place in these gigantic fucking Donnie Darko houses. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's got the white picket fence and that's Reagan's America and blah, blah, blah. Right. It was almost like a Reagan's Code instead of the Hayes Code back then. I felt like all of these movies had these massive, certainly upper middle class was the vision of 80s teen stuff.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, like, the only way that we know that these people or even this particular family is super wealthy, is because of their house, right? Like you just said.
Not even that, then though, because
wear.
like the outside could have been normal. It's like in Ferris Bueller, we get that they're rich because of the garage and like the cars and all of that stuff. Something is a little bit extra versus in this movie, it's just like a big white house. You know what I mean?
Well, and also I think in this movie we're not really given any other characters to compare them to. Like all of our characters are part of society or part of like the elite group, right?
And he's going to kind of elite school anyway. So it's like there's not really any contrast there.
Exactly.
And that's part of the problem.
And I think like if the main objective for this cult or this group is to like feast on or like find sustenance from the lower classes, we should have had more lower class people dying in this movie.
There's also no rhyme or reason to how they look or act or anything.
Yeah.
Like we have jocks and we have nerds and we have everyone that's part of this quote unquote society. And it really doesn't seem to have anything to do with money or prestige or looks or any of that. And so they didn't really tie that together. And like this, there's not really a unified theory here. It's just like, it's kind of lazy. The whole thing just seems kind of lazy.
I guess if any character is treated differently throughout the movie, it's Bill, right? Obviously, because he feels like an outsider amongst these people. He's treated
he's their
like
fucking
one.
class president and they're like football star and everything else. And it's just like, he's not a good example of someone on the outside and he doesn't get treated. There's no like before and after, usually you could see when you become an outcast, how far the mighty have fallen type of story. Right. Mm-hmm. And there is never that moment for him.
Nope.
He might as well go to school on Monday after all of this and be his experience hasn't changed at all.
I think I wanted a more story to this, and I've saw this movie when I was younger. I think I watched it again in my 20s and I still have fun whenever I watch this movie.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people that are going to be like listening to us about this and being like, why are you watching it for the story?
Yeah.
Right. Because it's just supposed to be a fun, like creature feature-y kind of thing. And the reason we're doing this is because we've seen so many horror movies that do this so much better. And we know that what they were trying to do.
Exactly.
That's what bothers us. Because we love the movies that are like dumb as fuck, like Student Body bodies and other things that aren't trying to be, and they know themselves. This movie tried to be something more, didn't know itself, and ended up a cult classic in spite of itself, right? Not for the right reasons.
Well, and I think the reasons that became a cult classic are for the reasons that we've already talked about, right? Like it's the shocking ending alone and maybe some of the other moments. Because I think that they hint at a lot within this movie.
You want to watch your friends squirm.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what it is. That's what gives this movie life.
And the thing is that like the body horror in this is not exactly really horrific. It's not like horror body horror. It's really, really funny. You know, it's kind of like...
It's gross.
It's gross, but it also looks like Peter Jackson, like early Peter Jackson got his hands on something and created those effects.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? It reminds me a lot of an early Peter Jackson movie. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I really enjoy those movies, but also those early Peter Jackson movies do a lot better at telling the story.
They do.
You know, and there's actual characters and change and stuff like that. And there doesn't really happen here. It's just like, it's like they're like...
That's our next Pride movie.
What?
The lesbian movie he did about murder.
Beautiful Creatures?
Yeah, we could do Beautiful Creatures.
Oh, what a good movie that is. Okay, yeah, I like that.
Whatever. It's up to you.
No, I like that very much. I mean, I think they hint at some things throughout this movie, and I kind of wanted more of that too. Like when he's spying on his sister in the shower, and you could see her face and her ass pointing the same directions, like very Death Becomes Her style. You know?
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. And then when he's in bed with Clarissa and like her arms are like literally just about to like reach all the way around his body 2 times and straight into his butthole, you know? And those things are cool and they don't do that enough, you know? Instead, they go for some really goofy stuff. But even when they get to the body horror and it's supposed to be, you know, more than gross, maybe even scary, it's kind of like parlayed with his dad's own face coming out of his anus, right? His own anus and saying like, look at my butthole. And I'm like, okay, you know, like.
Yeah, I kind of wanted a more of like an Eyes Wide Shut, like society kind of like thriller paranoia thing happening. And that they never quite went there. You know, like even like The Devil's Advocate, when you see like, you're surprised by who's in it and who's not, who's affected. You see like the demons moving under the skin and stuff, but she's utterly alone watching that happen. You know, that sort of feeling. Like, and I just feel like this movie could have been so much more scary, more serious about the satire. And that's, if they were trying to do that, that's what they could have done. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I've seen this movie, like I said, a handful of times, you know, and everyone sees it coming when the fucking shrink is a member of society. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing is surprising at any of the twists and turns in here, you know? And then you know something really gross is going to happen with the bodies because they play it up a lot. And
they go straight up comedic with it by the end. Like the guy still has a cigar after he's like inside somebody. A lit fucking cigar. I don't know.
So, I mean, it's funny and it's fun. And I think that those are the takeaways from this particular movie, you know? But I don't know. I do think that there's also some kind of like a queer subtext to the body horror with this, or just like the shunting itself. Right?
Yeah. I don't know how intentional it is. It just kind of...
Yeah, I don't think it's very intentional at all. Or maybe it could be. I don't know. But the movie's a very strange, like, sexual energy about it, right? And the film's horror partly comes from, like, a destabilizing, acceptable social structures in a way that makes something very sex-like beneficial to everybody involved in society, right? Including the mixing of genders without regard to normal heterosexual patterns.
Well, to me, it goes the satire of the rich versus the poor, right? And this is decadence. We're watching ultimate decadence.
That's right. I mean, they even mention that someone is a descendant of like Julius Caesar.
Yeah, they have transcended. Yeah, they mention Rome for sure. Yeah. I mean, they hang a lantern on it. And they're like, you know, we have transcended any kind of morals and ethics, right? We don't care about man on man, woman on woman. It's all the same to us. Flesh is a commodity and, you know, and all that. And so they very literally kind of do that. And that's kind of the beauty of the whole metaphor, right? And that piece of it works. And then they kind of just don't really play with their toys.
No, they don't.
Philosophically.
I mean, because they by the time we get to that major set piece at the end, there are no sexual boundaries at all, right? Male or female, self and other, and family ties are all ignored, like very, very aggressively.
And honestly, they don't really frame it like it's very sexual innately, but they don't really frame it that way. They frame it more like it's food, like it's some sort of like banquet. I know that they're doing it with each other, like, and so like it kind of has some plot holes in the meaning of it. Right, because the family's going off on their own and doing it together, but they're not actually like consuming anything.
No, they're not. But I feel like even during the shunting where they're eating, I think they're taking an extreme amount of pleasure with it.
Oh yeah.
You know,
like it's like orgasmic pleasure for sure.
Completely, right? But just given the time that it was made, I think there's kind of an argument here to be made against like late 80s anxieties about sexuality, body contamination, AIDS crisis, and the government response to it, right? Which led to kind of a fear of physical intimacy. It becomes kind of transgressive and liberating because society literally abandons their fixed identities altogether. And the movie is simultaneously like terrified of body fluidity and then fascinated by it. Like it just lingers so much on the way that all of these different kinds of people are sort of like joining each other and coming together in this orgasmic way.
They're trying to like get away with as much as they can, but they're not, because I know that behind the scenes, he refused to use any blood because he didn't want the MPAA on his butt.
Really, it was the blood that he was worried about? Because I feel like he could have gone even further with some of the like nudity and made like some elongating titty or something really gross looking.
I saw some balls and the tip of a dick.
Okay.
They had an extra standing up kind of or crouching from a crouching position in front of the camera and then walking up and away. And so you see kind of the hanging ball and dick. Could have been a Merkin-y kind of thing. And then like in the early credits and then later on you see the same gag, which is like a Muppety tit bag, literally like a bag tit.
Oh yeah.
Like from The Substance actually.
And it's
like The Substance took it from this because there's literally like a hanging tit from a rope, like just like brushing against people's foreheads.
But even that in the very beginning, it's very shadowed. Like it's very
covered in
silhouetted. And you can't really tell what it is. So, I mean, I think they could have pushed some boundaries, right? But
they certainly did, and certainly for in the 80s.
Yeah. I mean,
and this is deep into Reagan's 80s too. So
very much.
Yeah.
And I think that we've seen body horror before this point. Obviously, Cronenberg existed well before this.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that there's a lot of social anxiety attached to the body horror in this movie, right? The loss of bodily boundaries kind of mirror Bill's growing realization that individuality doesn't really exist within society. So they have that to say from like sort of a Marxist perspective. And everyone just kind of melts together into one privileged organism. So
here. The shunning itself is the class metaphor, which like you're talking about the subtext. I'm talking about the, text.
Yeah.
That physical metaphor. So like a shunt, is a medical or mechanical device used to divert fluid or redirect flow.
Right.
So in the movie, the rich are using shunting to literally distort, melt, physically absorb the bodies of the lower class. And they do this once. And it's a process of redirecting the essence and nutrients of the poor into themselves. I really wish they had done that more throughout.
Yep.
There was also a weird like pod people thing to this movie where it's just like all mixed and confused, and I wish they had been like straighter in the metaphor and just, dotted their I's and crossed their T's a little bit to make it more sense for the metaphor. But it's also a cannibalistic orgy, right? And so Yuzna used that term to describe a surreal, highly sexualized, flesh-melding ritual. And so during the shunt, the upper-class characters strip naked, contort their bodies, fuse together into a skirming amorphous blob of flesh to feed on their victims. Mm-hmm. Except that only happens once, and they do it with each other more often than that. So it's almost like they don't need to, because they're eating worms during the whole thing. They're literally eating worms.
Yeah, like slugs and shit. Yeah.
And that's what they're eating, actually. And then, they're consuming, as a slightly different use of that word, the flesh of the others, taking it onto themselves.
So I wonder, when they shunt together, is it just for pleasure? Or are they sharing a nutrient? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Later on, it shows them being kind of protean, where they can, change their form, but they're not super, useful at it.
Yeah, well, and that doesn't even really serve a purpose. They're like, oops, you caught us in the middle of it.
They could be really scary, like The Thing or something, right? Because you see them elongating their hands and their tongues and shit randomly. But then it's when they do that, it's kind of useless.
Yep.
I don't know. It's it could have been so much scarier. But also, the class warfare satire of it all. The film uses those horrifying bodily fusions as extreme societal satire, and it represents how wealthy elite metaphorically consume the poor and exploit society to maintain their power and genetic purity, which is also kind of weird since they're consuming the poor. But it's obviously an inversion of Eat the Rich.
Yep.
But in a way that Eat the Rich is kind of like a revenge thing, right? Against the rich, the wealthy.
It's a very French Revolution kind
and
of
using
thing.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? I made a little meme in our notes here. It's the car swerving off the fucking highway. The car is labeled society. And then straight ahead is metaphor and meaning. And then to the right is sex and body horror. And this car is swerving off the highway to sex and body and horror.
It really did fucking double down on the sex and body horror, you know, and the comedy, I think, like too much. I think they took the satire maybe just a little bit over the edge, you know, and sometimes that comedy really, really makes me laugh and have a good time. But then I remember, like, I'm having a good time watching a movie that's not good.
Well, it's also a lot of the comedies are not intentional.
This is true. Although, I mean, like, again, some of those lines.
Some of it is and some of it's not. Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like maybe he just needed to
get good.
to sort of quote your meme, like, pick a fucking lane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you think it's a horror movie though?
Yeah. Sure, I guess.
I mean, it's body horror, and it's a horror comedy.
Well, it's also like they're trying to do the whole paranoia mystery thing, but it's all half-assed. And it's like just trying to go down all these lanes at once, and they can't pick one. To use your metaphor.
Do you? Your metaphor.
I can't pick the metaphor. I'm all out.
Is this something that you think would do well in a remake?
I think anyone could do well in a remake. I think it should be remade.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like anything they do could be better than this, and should be.
Well, and I
especially
think,
now.
Yeah, I think now we have the capability to make the body horror even like grosser, and
we have a lot of great directors who could do it.
Yeah,
really well.
Coraline Forget. Let's let her have it and let her make another body horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she already had a lot of subtext and metaphor within the substance. I mean, she could literally do it again. So why not? Yeah, remake it. Were you scared while watching Society?
No.
It wasn't either. There's not even any jump scares in this, really.
No, it made me kind of want to watch what I think I remember of the Blob remake from 1988.
Which is excellent body horror.
Which technically this might have actually copied from in a lot of ways.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, because there's lots of like body dissolving and grossness.
Because I think it came out a year or two before this.
That's another highly nostalgic movie for me.
But that also has a lot better cred attached to it.
And it has Shawnee Smith in it. Oh my God. Okay, so what did you rate Society?
2 stars.
I gave it 3 stars, but a lot of that is nostalgia boner.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, and I don't know a lot of people who have seen this movie, even within even the horror fans that I know haven't seen it. And probably rightfully so. You know what I mean? It's not like it's super popular or anything like that, but it's fun. It's fun to recommend. But I always have to caveat when I talk about this movie and tell people, I was like, well, it's not good. You know, like even when I finally landed on this to show you after like talking about it and whatnot, I just had to remind you, you know, like it's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie for sure.
Yeah, I guess.
And I know you like the Venn diagram where movies are fun and good.
I do.
But this is not one of those.
No.
So,
no, it's not.
Who is the hottest guy in society?
Brian Yuzna. No, I don't know. I guess it has to be our main guy, right?
I like his friend. I like Milo. I think Milo's cuter than him.
Billy Warlock is cute.
I think he's a handsome man. Yeah, and he certainly looks leading man-esque.
He doesn't look like John Stamos was like hit with a ball peen hammer, but you know. That's still attractive.
I wonder what he looks like today.
John Stamos hit with a ball peen hammer.
Yeah, but older, but gray hair. Do you have any fun facts for me?
I kind of do.
Okay, kind of.
So Brian Yuzna claims that he back-engineered the film's plot points based on special effects ideas or gimmicks, stating that he was more interested in the surrealism of the story than the logic.
Well, you succeeded.
You just succeeded. We definitely got that. Also, Brian Yuzna's son, Conan Yuzna, plays one of the little boys who pranked Shauna and Billy at the beach.
Oh, those little bastards?
Yeah, Conan. Coincidentally, the Birmingham High School from Lake Balboa, California, used in the film was the actual high school of star Billy Warlock, graduated from a decade earlier.
A decade earlier?
Yeah, he was 28 when he made this.
So it is like 90210.
Yeah. Or Power Rangers.
That's right. We're all 40. Going to middle school. Megazord. Jesus Christ.
So, all scenes taking place in the living room use the exact same ticking clock audio loop as the one used in the opening babysitter sequence from When a Stranger Calls.
But that movie was actually scary.
Yeah, from 1979. All right. Yep. The original script had a different finale where the secret society was revealed as a cult that was out to sacrifice Billy for its own crazy reasons. Brian Yuzna, however, wanted a much more fantastic revelation, so he and makeup artist Screaming Mad George came up with the idea of the society being monstrous creatures that ate the lower class on the fly. So that's why this movie is the way it is.
Okay. I mean, and also
tacked on.
They don't really explain that very well either. God, they're just like, no, we're another species.
Oh my God, they gave us money to produce this thing. I can't believe it. Let's do it.
Okay.
The first prop was the hanging tip.
Look what I made.
Finally, while shooting the infamous shunting scenes, Brian Yuzna would put a sign on the soundstage floor that said, "Abandon all ye hope who you enter here."
Like the fucking catacombs?
Yeah.
Well. I think that just about sums up this derp dive into the film society.
I hope this derp dive was a fleshy amalgam of everything you wanted to know.
Did you find our conversation amorphous? You can tell us on social media at The Film Flamers on Facebook, on Instagram, on Blue Sky, on Threads, all the places.
Does Robert or I remind you of a fleshy blob? Let us know at tiredqueens@filmflamers.com or call our hotline at 972-666-7733 and let us know if you'd like to fist us
Do not
to consume our flesh.
Do not answer the question about us being blobs, because my sensitivities are real high right now. You can only call in and say that we're very, very handsome. That we are, in fact, the hottest guys in society.
Remind me of your Bengay that I ordered for you.
That also wraps up all of our content on the main feed. As you recall, what triggered this episode was the bonus episode that we put out much earlier in the month called The Dentist.
Yeah.
So head over to patreon.com/thefilmflamers, join the family, and catch what started it all, y'all.
Yeah. And what's next? Some sort of hot take, I imagine.
Yeah. I think we are toying with the idea of maybe catching the back rooms.
I would love that.
Yeah. And giving you our hot take on that. So stay tuned for whatever we choose, because this month here at the Film Flamers has been a thrill a minute with the faces.
Oh, I'm sure everyone's just enthralled.
Well, Chris,
their emotions are amorphous and fleshy.
I used the word cummy in the fucking synopsis. Come on.
How did we not use the word Muppety at all in this movie? That's what was missing.
Yeah, a more Muppety approach.
I needed the director of House to do this movie.
Yes, 100%. Well, Chris,
all right.
I think it's time for me to shunt myself off. And
Finish the sentence. Finish the sentence.
And have some
sweet dreams.
The things that come out of my mouth.
Shut the fuck up.
See, now we find why I gave this movie 3 stars. It's the word.